Hi, I'm Rob Namowitz, and I'm here to do an interview with Neil Wallace. I've endorsed him for the candidate for Supervisor of Independence Township, and I'm going to elucidate the reasons why I'm supporting him by asking him questions about why he wants to be Supervisor of Independence Township. As you go forward toward becoming Supervisor, one of the issues that's been very important has been the fire millage issue that's upcoming. Now, most of your initiatives with the township and through your actions as a trustee have been in the area of making the township thrifty and being frugal. How do you square that with the upcoming fire millage renewal and the increase that's been asked for that you've endorsed and supported for the election in August?
Yeah, I make no bones about it. In the first instance, over the course of the last 4 years, the fire chief and the union have cooperated on 2 reorganizations that I'm impressed by, saved us a lot of money. But more needed to be done. The township board took a very deep look at this to try and find ways to get by. And the firefighters themselves even went without a raise. They gave up a raise that they had coming by contract. So they understand the depth of the problem. I think it's a very important service for this community. I'm convinced that this slight increase that we'll need is absolutely necessary. I really think that if township government doesn't provide for fire and police, it's pointless really to exist. I've often said that for me, of the top 10 priorities, whatever they are for the township, 1 through 7 are police and fire. So I think it's vitally important. It's a very small increase. The average market value of a home in Independence Township right now is $212,000. That means the average homeowner will pay about $60 more a year for very excellent fire service and very excellent emergency medical services. We're lucky to have those services, and I believe they're part of having a quality residential community. So I support not only the renewal, but the small increase as well.
So Neil, in the upcoming November election, there's going to be a ballot issue about the library. For folks who may want to spend more time at the library, they might want to see it funded a little bit better. I understand you're a friend of the library. Can you flesh that out for us, your work with the library?
Well, I have been on the Friends of the Library organization, but more importantly, we have a real problem with the library. We got a very strong vote in 2010 to renew the millage at .691 mils. But that wasn't enough to fund the library, as it turned out, and because it's under an antiquated a law that no longer exists, we can't raise the millage over that and have the library our community really deserves. It turns out we spend just over $30 per capita on our library, where communities around us like Brandon and Orion spend over $50 per resident. Our library is a fantastic resource, a part of what makes this a quality residential community, and I think we can do better. For 2012, the township had to supplement the library's budget to the tune of $135,000 just so that it could continue to provide services. The library is going to go downhill if we don't do something more. So we've gone to what's called a district library. The township board just approved it. It's about to go before the city council. That will result in a library board that'll separately govern the library, and they will propose a millage probably at 1.25 mils. Which Julie Meredith, the librarian, has put together a series of alternatives, and this library agreement committee that I served on settled on that as being the appropriate millage to keep the library at a service level that really befits this community.
Well, you know, Neil, I think that a lot of people who may be watching and people who live in the township don't understand how many people actually live in Independence Township. What's our residents' population right now?
The township alone, 2010 census was just below 35,000. I don't have any reason to believe that's increased dramatically. And of course, the village would be about another 1,000 people, give or take.
The population and the numbers drive a lot of different things. McLaren Hospital has been trying to get here into Independence Township for a long, long time. How does the population affect healthcare opportunities in Independence Township, and how will it affect it in the future?
Well, the McLaren proposal is really for regional development, not just for Independence Township. If Independence Township had 35,000 residents in the middle of nowhere, McLaren would want anything to do with us. So we're being asked to host what is really a regional development. I was opposed to that originally back in 2007 because I believe there was an imbalance. An imbalance in the sense that a large part of the facility there at McLaren would not pay real estate taxes like the rest of us do. And so the taxpayers would be at risk to have to come up with the money to support them by providing infrastructure. One of the things that was overlooked back then was the fact that we're going to need over $2 million to improve the water system just to provide water to the hospital. I took it upon my own to meet with the McLaren representatives beginning in February of this year to cover some of those issues once I decided I wanted to be the township supervisor. I found that their business model had changed, so as a result of that, they were going to be reducing the size of some of their non-taxable facilities and increasing the size of some of the taxable facilities. So that helped with the balance. I also told them about the water thing and some other issues so that they could help us get that balance back in balance. And one of the key things that I got from them, I believe, is a pledge that they will be on track to become a level 2 trauma center. What that means is that they will have, from the get-go, board-certified emergency physicians of a variety of disciplines, so that while we're perched right on I-75, they're ready to take care of the real serious possible problems that we'll have, so they won't have emergencies being shipped out to Ann Arbor or down to Beaumont. I think that was crucial for us to have if we're going to have such a large facility here.
With a population of 35,000, I mean, that's just the beginning number. There are a lot of different numbers that affect how the township gets supervised, which is what you want to do. We do have older things, not just the McLaren new developments. There are older developments too. We have the old Saginaw Trail or Dixie Highway. What about the commercial rehab district?
The commercial rehab district is something that's been something of a disappointment to me because of the lack of leadership on this particular point. Back in 2009, the Township Board, with the assistance of the Planning Commission, put into effect a state-authorized commercial rehabilitation district. By the terms of that, a business in that district, if they improve their facilities, would not be taxed for a period of time on the value of those improvements. That was meant to be a draw to businesses that came here. It didn't work. It hasn't been used yet because no one, not in the building department, not the supervisor, whose job it is, did not reach out to these businesses. So for instance, we had Weingart's and the Royal Diner, which came and invested a lot of money in this community. Had they known in advance, they could have saved some money, but the real important point is that there could be others that could be filling up some of these facilities. And I would take it upon myself to reach out and find the kind of businesses that fit within our land use master plan and attract them to our community.
Would most